Hey guys, it's Claude from Kessel Interiors again, and we are at Builders Series today to put some cabinets together. So I'm going to show you guys how to assemble these cabinets. Okay, now to put these together, as you notice, I got lots of tools back here. You don't need all that to be able to put it together. That's just because we do it a little bit different than the standard install. But I'll show you how we put them together. But in reality, all you need is a rubber mallet and star screwdrivers. A bigger one to put the cam dowels in and a smaller one to put in the little pins that go in there. With this, that's all you need to be able to put everything together. Now, I want to go a bit faster, so I got a few more tools. We'll talk about that as we go forward. So let's start this and see what we've got, okay? So right now, I've opened up a box already so that I can use a cardboard to be able to put down to protect as I'm going and to make it a bit faster. If you don't have a table, this can be assembled at a workbench, it can be assembled in a table in the middle of the room. In our case, we didn't have a table in the showroom here for me to be able to show you. So I put two cabinets together, I put a sheet of plywood down with the cardboard to protect it, and then we're good to go. So let's start, let's open this up, let's see what we've got. So right off the bat, when you open it up, as you notice, everything is protected by foam, nice and solid. And as you see right off the bat, we've got white one side and hard rock imitation maple on the inside. That's our back for our cabinet. We'll put him aside. This guy here, see, full of holes. That's one of our gables. That's one of our sides to the cabinet. And here's another one. This is the other side to the cabinet. So we're starting with an upper here, as you could see. There's no drawers, no slides or anything to deal with, just the cabinet pieces that we have. And this is going to be a top or a bottom. Put him aside. Little stretcher. Just putting everything aside so I can show you what comes in the box, and then we'll take it from there. And then the cardboard box here. Here's a shelf. Here's a shelf. And the last stretcher. So we recycle this foam. I keep a garbage bag nearby so that we can pack all that stuff up when we need it. So now let's get all this out of the way. And let's start assembling this. So as you see here, you have a back stretcher. It's got little holes in it here for the cam dowel system, and it's got little dowels inside for you to be able to line it up. Your shelves are going to be edged all the way around for the protection and to make sure no water or humidity or anything gets inside of your shelves. Nice and sealed protection. Your side gable. So this is the side piece of your cabinet, okay? And that piece here is your bottom piece to your cabinet, or the top. So this is a wall cabinet, like what we have back here. So what you have is, he's gonna be assembled like so. So first thing you do is you put this guy down here, and as you see, there's some plastic dowels inside of these guys here, right here. So we're gonna have to screw in those little shafts for the cam dowel system. And then these holes that you see here are the ones that are on these pieces right here to line up the dowels to make sure that they fit perfect inside of the holes. So everything is made to fit nice and snug and perfect right inside these holes. Okay, so let's take a look at what we've got as accessories that come with it. So here are all the little shafts and shelf pins and the cam dowel stuff. And these are the soft close hinges. We'll put these guys aside for a moment. And then we'll start with this guys. So when we open this up, I like to just careful not to lose these little pieces, right? You're gonna need them. And then the little screw caps for when you screw it into the cabinet to the wall, I put it back in. The little bumpers for the doors, I'm gonna put this back in there so we don't lose it. And put him aside, right there. So what are we left with? We've got the little cam dowel systems that are going to be inserted inside of these little holes. And as you see, it's a star screwdriver to be able to put it in. And then we got the pins that are going to be screwed into these little plastic dowels that we had in there. Now these, the way they function is, there's a hole inside that they lock them in like this, and then it just turns sideways to lock it into place, to lock it in. Cam dowel locking system. So that's just basically how they work. So you're gonna see that in a few minutes. So I have little trays, which I like to just put my stuff in so I don't get too confused and lose my pieces. I'm just gonna separate these guys up a little bit. My shelf supports, I'm gonna put them aside. And we got our locking mechanisms right there. So now that we've separated everything up, I want to keep these guys to install them on here. I'm going to put this aside. And then we're going to start just hand drilling them in, just to make them fit just the thread straight of it. And that's to make sure that by putting them in by hand like this, you can just do one little turn just to make sure that they start threading into the plastic nice and straight. So that way they don't go all crooked on you. And you're able to assemble cabinets that are perfectly straight and square. So a little bit of hand drilling just to get them to fit correctly. These guys are all good, so we're going to put them aside for the next one. Move these guys out of the way for a second. And here's the other one. We're going to do both sides at once. On upper cabinets, they don't take much room, so you could fit them both on your workbench. There we go. Almost done. We're getting there. Now that they're just hand threaded a little bit so that they're able to go in nice and straight, this is where you would use the screwdriver and you just screw them in till they're nice and snug. Now it's not very hard to do, very simple. So you don't really need a drill for this, but we have a lot of cabinets to assemble. So we're going to cheat and get some power. Just put them nice and snug. I got a chalk on here that stops it so it doesn't go too tight. And just nice and snug to the plastic. Okay, they're all in. So the next step, we're going to add some glue. Now, you don't need to add the glue. These cabinets are made strong and solid without. But at Builders Series over here, we like to make these cabinets last forever for you. So what we like to do is all these little dowels that are in here that are made to just line them up like so, we like to glue these to make sure that they never come out again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab me some pliers and I'm just going to gently twist a bit and just pull these out. So these little dowels come out. You see how easy they come out? They're nice and smooth in there. So we're going to add some glue to this process to make your cabinets last long for you. Okay. Now flip it to the other side. Here, almost done, and there we go. Okay, now that these guys have been taken out, the little dowels, we're just going to add a little drop of glue just to make sure these dowels don't come out. Now the cam locks, when you lock them tight, they're going to hold your cabinet together. But by adding a little bit of glue inside of here, before we add the dowels, what it's going to do is it's going to make it nice and strong, and they're never going to come out of there again. So you're just doubling up on the strength of your cabinetry. That's all you're doing. But again, like I said, not necessary. These cabinets are strong the way they are. I like to use my rubber mallet just to make sure my dowels are in there nice and tight. Take out this guy here, put a bit of glue in here. Make sure you don't put it in the hole where the cam lock is. You got to put it in the hole where the dowel came out of. If you're not really sure, you can do one at a time. Take one dowel out, put some glue, put it back in again. I like to just speed up the process a bit. Like I said, I have a full kitchen to assemble. I'm only going to show you a small upper. This is a single door upper, so it makes it quick and easy. But it's the same process for a double door. You just have an extra door to put on. Okay. And then this guy. I almost went too fast there. My wrist dripping some glue. Oops. Had the glue. So I'm going too fast. Doesn't take very much. As you see, I'm just tapping just gently to make sure they're nice and snug, because once you put in the glue, it does make it a bit tighter sometimes, as you see. The glue fills in that extra space that was in the hole. There you go. And there we go. So now we have our two back stretchers and we have our two floors, top and bottoms. Let's put that aside. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add the glue on the gable side. We put it on the top and bottom. Now we're going to put it on the gable side. This one. Last but not least, right over here. There we go. So now, the next thing you're going to have to pay attention. We're ready to put on our pieces. Now, I want you to pay attention to the groove for your back. Okay, you got to be very careful that when you put it together, you don't assemble it in this kind of a manner. You got to assemble it like so that the groove is on the same side. If I put it on the other side, the groove in the front and the groove of this piece on this side, then the back will not slide together. So all we do is just put it in there like this. And as you see, nice and snug. And then on this side, as we see, tap it in there, nice and snug. Okay. And now, before we put the last piece in, up here on top, we have to make sure the back is in. And we have to make sure that the back stretchers are in. So now, when you're putting in the back stretcher, I'm going to put this guy first so you could see. If I put in the back, you're not going to be able to see. When you put in your back stretcher, make sure you don't put the holes forward. Because if you put the holes forward, you won't be able to lock your cam dowels. So you need to put it backwards to have access to it from the back. Okay. And then this guy here. There we go. And then now our back. When it comes to the back, we're going to slide it in the grooves. It's a 1/4 inch back with a 1/4 inch groove. They're made to slide in there. You got to make sure that you look at your back, that you're not putting the white side on the inside. So these are made for multicolored cabinets. So you got to make sure, since we have a hard rock maple inside, we got to be able to put the hard rock maple inside. And you just slide it in there. In there correctly. There you go. Sometimes it is a little bit tighter, so we just gotta go like this. I like that. Make sure it's in there nice and tight. See? too far, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start adding some of these cam dowels to make sure these pieces are locked tight together before I put the top one on. It's just easier if you make the pieces solid as you're moving forward. I'm gonna move it. Now this one we don't want to cheat and use a drill. You want to use the real screwdriver. So you're going to use the star screwdriver, the bigger screwdriver. It just goes in there nice and sweet and it locks it tight. So I'm going to move one of these so that I can show you nice how it is. I'm just going to turn it over sideways. So basically, when you look at it from underneath, you've got an opening. It's a circle, but you've got a little bit of an opening there. So as you see, the little head of your little shaft that you put is in the hole. So you need to put that hole opening downwards towards it so that you can put it in. Sometimes when you're putting it in, you might want to wiggle a bit just to make sure that it goes in. Then you just do quarter turn and it's locked into place. Let's grab another one. Again, making sure my piece is in the bottom to be able to put it in. Wiggling it as I put it in to find the nice spot. There we go. Now I do put it in. Quarter turn. And as you see, it came out and it locked it into place for me. Now this piece will not come off. I'm going to do the same with the other ones on this side. On the back. It's the part I was telling you that you can't see what I'm doing on this side. Now I could turn it around and show it to you actually, so that you see what I'm doing. So again, like we said, piece downwards, put it in, wiggle it a bit, turn it in, nice and locked. Flush from the front, we're good to go. Okay. And then the back stretchers that I was putting on was the same scenario, like this, and then just locking it into place. And then again, and we just lock it into place. There we go. So now the back is in place, the sides are locked into place. Now we're ready to put on our last piece. Now we just flip them over. Be careful to go fairly quick because we did put glue in the holes. So we don't want it dripping everywhere. But see, everything lines up into place. We line up everything. Sometimes you might have to give a bit of pressure to make sure that the things line up. Everything is lined up. Grab our nice little mallet. Tap a bit. Tap a bit. Being that it's an upper cabinet, sometimes when you're going to do this last piece, the back piece is fitted in perfect all the way around. So what you got to do, sometimes you might want to tap it, vibrate it a bit so that it lines up with the groove as you're tapping it down. In my case, everything seems to be great. Let's just lock her in. Okay. And then now, same cam and dowel system that we lock it all up. Same as before. Now this time, the shaft is upwards. So this guy, you got to put it upwards to be able to get to the shaft head, to be able to just lock her down. Lock it down. Lock it down again. Go. And the last four over here. 2. This one over here. And our last guy over here. Let's see if I can do this with my left hand. So you see, put it in there. Wiggle it a bit to find the spot. Maybe left hand's not a good idea. Oh, there we go. Oh, the other way, clockwise. Lock it in, and that little dowel that fell, this guy in there. There you go. So, this is the assembly of an upper cabinet. A cabinet is completely assembled and ready to go. Now, at Kessel, we like things strong, so we're going to take it one step further. There's no finished sides that are visible on this cabinet, so I can afford to put some screws down on the side to lock it down even tighter again. Okay? So if you're going to choose to go down that road for the screws, first of all, this is 3/4 inch plywood that we're using. So I use 1 1/4 screw. Okay? And that's countersinkable. Don't use the washer head, use only the flat head. Then I have a countersink. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 screws on each head of these guys. So you got your 3/4 inch, you can measure your mark over and go. I'm going to cheat and go by eye. I do a lot of these, so I suggest that you guys do mark it over to your 3/8 and then throw a line, but basically make sure you're perfectly straight, and then you just countersink that guy in. It does make a bit more of a mess. You're going to have to do a bit of vacuuming later on, but it's really worth it. And then I take this guy here. So this is going to add strength that these cabinets are going to last you forever. So you're going to turn a ready to assemble cabinet yourself into a custom higher end cabinet strength. Plus they're all made out of plywood with solid wooden maple doors. So these cabinets are going to last you a long time. Okay, give a double check on the inside to make sure we didn't blow through. Everything is great. Let's do the other side. Countersink this guy. I'm going pretty much, I know I'm going fast, but it's a normal pace. These cabinets do not take very long to put together, especially if you're not doing all the gluing and all the extra stuff that I was doing. They go together very fast. So here we go. Lock this guy down. Here. Here. And here. So right now, we have a box, upper cabinet, ready to go to be assembled on the wall. So the only thing left to do, put on the hinges onto the doors and put on the shelves. And I'm going to show you guys that in another video.